Are you having fun in your business? I mean, it should be fun, right? Well, sometimes the fun gets overlooked when you're dealing with the have-tos, the complexities of being your own boss and actually running the show. It's my goal that this, the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast, can help reignite your spark of fun by providing tips, tools, insights, and inspiration so you can enjoy running your business in the simplest, easiest, most fun way possible. I'll be sharing practical tips and ideas that you can implement immediately, along with business and money mindset insights to keep you moving forward no matter what's going on around you. I'm your host, Deirdre Amies, the Fun Business and Money Coach and founder of Powered by Personality. Let's play. Hey there, and welcome to the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast. As you may already know, this podcast is a mix of short tips, tool, or tactic episodes which come out on Thursdays, and more in-depth coaching episodes on Tuesdays where we dive into a bit more detail on a particular theme. Today is Tuesday, so of course it's a longer coaching episode. I've got some insights to help you set yourself up for the next 90 days, which then sets you up for the next 90 days and the next 90 days after that, and so on. So if you're listening to this in real time, it's Tuesday, the 23rd of May, 2023. We're almost 6 months into the year, and you're probably wondering, why are we talking about goal stuff? Because that's usually end of the year or start of the year stuff. I always hope that by this point, we, I'm meaning you, me, and everyone else, are well and truly running with our plans that we made way back in December or January, and we're on our way to smashing our big goals for the year. The reality is, not everyone operates like that. If you're a ruler archetype, you'll be scratching your head and wondering, how is everyone not like that? While the nurturers, connectors, and romantics are breathing a sigh of relief when someone actually gets that they're not like that. So there's my first tip. Don't go basing your progress on what you see others doing online. And if you caught the last episode, which is called Everyone is a Mess, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The comparison game is the worst game you can play. Along with Monopoly, of course. That literally brings out the worst in people and their attitudes about money. And it's apparently fun. Not in my world, it's not. Monopoly can just get in the bin. So let's just roll straight into the second tip for the day. Don't base your 90-day goals on the calendar. You can start a 90-day cycle anytime that works for you. But if you do want to follow a calendar cycle, right now is also a great time to be planning for a 90-day cycle beginning in June or July, because by the time that finishes, you'll have time for a second 90-day cycle before the end of the year. There's no time like the present, right? I don't have a crystal ball or the ability to predict the future, as much as I would love that, but I'm always optimistic that everything will work out exactly as it's meant to. All we have to do is to hold that vision of what we want to achieve, how we want to feel along the way, and achieve it, and take the small daily actions that move us closer to it. Yes, that's on the woo side of things, which I am totally down for. I'm a mix of practical logic and spiritual woo. I'm a firm believer that you need both. Call it faith, intuition, the universe, a higher power, whatever works for you, it's all the same as far as I'm concerned. I'm talking about a 90-day time frame because it's completely achievable. You can create anything in 90 days. Got an idea for a course? Get it done. You want to launch a podcast? Easy. Need to make some serious money by signing on new high-end clients? Give yourself 90 days and make it happen. That might seem a bit flippant for me to say it like that, but it's no less true. When you set a goal to achieve in 90 days, it's absolutely amazing what you can actually get done. I created my first coaching program and launched my business in less than 90 days while working full-time in a corporate role. So let's break down this 90-day process, shall we? And I'm not breaking it down by days. This is the overall process. Step 1 is to set a target date. What's the date 90 days from now? I know it is completely obvious, but it's also easily overlooked. Setting your timeline puts perspective on what you want to achieve. Some people like to consider the phases of the moon or planets in retrograde. If that's your jam, then by all means, go with that. As I've mentioned before, I prefer numerology, but I also don't obsess over all the details. Don't let a planetary alignment stop you from taking action in the next 90 days. The second step is to set your goal. What do you want to achieve in the next 90 days? What's your goal? What results or outcome do you want to achieve? It might be that you want to launch your business so that you can build it up before you leave your job. Maybe you want to transition into a new area of business that might take a bit of balancing between your other commitments. Maybe you want to fill your diary with clients and reach a particular income goal. And I do recommend that you include a financial goal of some sort, even if it feels uncomfortable. Don't overthink it. Don't be all weird about it. It's simply a measurable, tangible outcome that reflects the work that you're doing towards it. Whatever your goal is, write it down and be specific. There's no limits here. This is your goal. My one caveat, though, is to keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it and don't get so ambitious that it will end up overwhelming you and you do nothing. The third step is to decide your offer. What am I offering for the next 90 days? This could be one high-ticket offer that will take maybe a few weeks to gain traction and bring new clients on board. Or it could be a lower-cost offer that's an easy sell, but you've got to get enough people to actually buy it. Crunch your numbers so that you know how many clients you need to buy that offer in order to reach your financial goal. My offers are all in the high-ticket bracket, whereas one of my business besties has an $8 membership product that generates the same amount of money as one of my clients paying in full, purely because she has the volume. Everyone wants and needs some quick wins to make some right now money, but don't be flip-flopping around from one thing to another, offering this thing this week and something else next week. Pick one thing and stick with it long enough to see the results. If you're being even a little bit observant on social media, you'll know that content is generally being shown to your audience days after you've posted it. So don't be disheartened when a single post or email doesn't get the traction that you expected. I'm not a marketing coach, that's not my background at all, but I can tell you from experience that having a solid offer that you're talking about consistently, persistently, and frequently will get you the results you want. Step 4 is a reality check. We love a good reality check. Is this goal achievable in 90 days with the time I have available in a day or in a week? This little reality check is possibly the most important question besides knowing what you actually want to achieve. Like I said, you can get really ambitious and end up doing nothing because you just don't have the time, energy, or expertise to do it all yet. Depending on your situation with family, work, or business commitments, you might have plenty of hours in a week available, or you might have very little. Knowing how much time you have to commit to this goal helps you to avoid overwhelm and taking on too much. However many hours that you have available in a week, that is great. There's no benchmark for this. If you've got an hour, that's what you've got. If it's going to take more time though, you need to look at how can you scale it back. What's the minimum standard that you're willing to accept in order to achieve this goal? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be complete. An example I can share with you on this is when I was creating that first coaching program that I mentioned earlier, I didn't have all of the content written. The client workbooks weren't ready, and I definitely didn't have a pretty website or a sales page. What I did have was an outline of the program so people could easily see the steps that I was going to take them through. I was able to explain the results they'd achieve and how they would feel at the end. I knew I could get that content written while I was working with clients, as long as I was keeping a couple of steps ahead of them. Now, that might feel really uncomfortable for some of you, and others will be nodding along and thinking, yeah, that's how I roll too. How you actually operate is influenced by your money archetypes. An accumulator will hate having anything that has gaps or potential potholes and will spend loads of extra time finessing it and running tests to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. Whereas a maverick is more likely to put out an offer and say, if enough people are interested, I'll make this a thing. And they'll take pre-orders before they've even created a single piece of content. Now, of course, I'm not a fan of jargon or lingo that I then have to go and research to figure out what someone's actually talking about. And those money archetypes are definitely a bit of jargon that you'll hear me talking about frequently. I've done a whole episode dedicated to the money archetypes, what they are and how they influence your behavior. Make sure you go check out episode 3, which is titled Unlock the Power of Your Money Personality. It is fascinating stuff. And you can find out your own money archetypes with my Sacred Money Archetypes quiz. You'll find the link in the description of this and every episode. Now, step 5 in this process to achieving your 90-day goals is to map it out. You can't take action if you don't have a plan. Take your goals and dreams and get logical and practical. What are the actual steps you need to take to make it happen? What do you need to implement? What can you eliminate, declutter? Are there boundaries that you need to put in place? Get yourself a calendar or a whiteboard or a piece of paper, whatever it is you like to use, and plan where you're going to work on this. Some people like to mind map. I like bullet points and words in a logical flow. So I usually write each key point on a separate piece of paper and I'll lay them out across the floor so I can see exactly how many steps there are and I can see everything that's involved. When you've done this process once and you've implemented it, it becomes super easy to do it again and again and again. And before you know it, you've taken so many flying leaps towards your big goal that you've smashed them well within the original time frame that you thought you might need. And the final step in all of this is to take action. As they say, goals without action are just hopes and wishes. So let me just recap those questions or the steps for you. Step 1 is to set a target date. What's the date 90 days from now? Step 2, set your goal. Step 3, decide your offer. Step 4, run it through the reality check. Is this actually doable in the time I have available? Step 5, map it out. Get logical and practical. What are the actual steps that you're going to take? And step 6, take action. Go do the thing. And I know it's super easy to just say, here are the steps I've broken down for you. Go do the thing. The reality of actually doing it can be quite challenging, which is why I'm here to help. I help clients in Ignite, my one-to-one coaching program, to do all of this and so much more. Someone asked me recently why it's called Ignite. Well, it's because I love the idea of taking a little spark of an idea and turning it into a self-sustaining inferno of awesomeness. We review the very foundations of your business and your brand, your ideal clients. We build that roadmap that you're going to use to guide your clients from A to B. And we create the solid, just right Goldilocks offer that you're going to take out to the world and use to achieve your 90-day goals over and over again. You get my support to create and implement all of that, along with simple strategies that keep you in momentum without burning you out. If that sounds like the kind of business you want, send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. I'm at Fun Business, Fun Money, all one word, on both platforms. You'll also find me on LinkedIn, or you can email hello@deirdreamies.com, and let's have a chat about exactly what you need and want. You'll find the links to all of those ways of connecting with me in the description and in the show notes. That's what I got for you today. As I've said before, I want everyone to succeed and to create the time and financial freedom you want. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen when you have a solid business foundation and you take action in 90-day focused chunks of time and energy. Take care, have fun, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me. If you found this episode useful, make sure you hit that follow button on your chosen podcast platform so you get the notifications when each new episode goes live and you don't miss anything. If you know someone who would also get something from it, don't be shy, share it with them. One of the best things about being a business coach for online entrepreneurs is helping them make sense of their creative ideas and turn them into a simple, clear business system that actually makes money. A client recently described me as a castle building expert. You've got the big vision and some of the building materials already, but you don't quite know how to bring it all together into a solid foundation. Then I come along and I show you the blueprint that makes sense of it all. I love that analogy. And I'd love to show you your personalized blueprint, the one that's just right for you and your clients. But I can't do that until you join Ignite, my business and money coaching program. So head on over to deirdreamies.com/ignite for all the details. Fill out the application form and let's talk about building your castle in the simplest, easiest way possible.